from the official Viz translations, but will not be showing any images here. If you wish to read or follow along, please check out the official Viz translations. Okay, so today we're reading One Piece chapter 1005, titled Demon Child. Now the title page is a picture of Katakuri scoffing his face with some delicious looking donuts somewhere in Charlotte Linlin's territory. With him, we see a number of animals, including cats, dogs, and possibly a raccoon, enjoying their own treats in peaceful bliss. It looks quite charming, quite warm, and I'm quite jealous. Moving on, we return to the banquet hall on the 3rd floor. We see a wisp of smoke as the scene changes, and we are presented with Sanji crucified on a web and confronted by Black Maria in all her glory. Black Maria's smiling spider legs are at ground height, whereas her face, or what we assume to be her face, is staring Sanji directly in the eye. Black Maria demands that Sanji call Nico Robin to this very place so that she can be captured and held captive by Kaido for use as a poneglyph translator. Black Maria explains that she has layers and layers and layers of webs already set up, so as soon as Robin sets foot in the room, she is bound to be captured. Sanji, being the ever so gallant man he is, denies this request. However, Black Maria, not one to go down lightly, takes out a knuckle duster. We see Sanji's expression. He fears the pain that was coming his way as Black Maria swings, smashing our hero in the face and causing blood to splatter, as well as the web to recoil from its impact. Black Maria winds up another punch, and again, and again, and again, smashing Sanji and causing more and more pain upon the man. We see Black Maria's subordinates in shock, or allegedly in shock, as if they had not seen their leader batter down a man in such a way. The ladies simply exclaim that, whilst this is agonizing to watch, it's clear that Sanji will not give in. He will not sell out his teammates. He is a gallant gentleman, and he will always be that. However, much to their chagrin, it transpires that Sanji is in fact none of those things, and he screams at the top of his voice, "Robin, help me." A look of shock is seen on Black Maria's subordinates as well as Black Maria's face. They had not expected Sanji to sell out his teammates, his crewmates, in such a way. On the 3rd floor, we see the One-Eyes. We see a bunch of animals and people with a one-eyed paper mask. They appear to be connected as expected, and are transmitting Sanji's message throughout Onigashima. Sanji apologizes, but Tamar asks Robin for his help. We see the reaction of several men. In the dome, Drake and Apu are fighting. We see Chopper preparing the medicine. We see Law's crew exclaiming how pathetic Sanji must be, and we see Marco in combat with King, fire surrounding him, and King's bullets raining down from King. We see Jinbei and Uzu in combat. Jinbei's arm black from Haki as he defends against Saber-Tooth Cat, and we see Frankie fighting Sasuke, holding back the Triceratops, who is charging him down once more. Marco simply laughs to himself. "These guys are interesting," he exclaims, realizing immediately that whilst it would appear to be a pathetic statement, there are many more layers to what Sanji is saying. The scene quickly switches once more to Nami and Usopp. Nami, understanding immediately that Sanji must be caught by a woman, as there is no other reason he would be asking for help or he would be in trouble to this extent. Usopp, however, has his eyes on another thing. He points towards a cat on the rafters with his mask over his head and realises that the voice is coming from that, and that somehow it is acting as a surveillance system. The scene switches back to Sanji and Black Maria. Black Maria chuckles to herself. She had not expected it to be so easy, and yet Sanji had broken almost immediately, and Nico Robin was on her way. One of her subordinates confirms this fact by stating that someone is on the way. Black Maria laughs. "That was quick," she exclaims. "You see, you've done well, Sanji. You sold out your teammate almost immediately." Black Maria goads Sanji by asking whether he wants to stay in her submission, whether he wants to dote on her for the rest of his life. However, peering over his side, realises that there are already a number of men like that, and he exclaims loudly and proudly that he does not want to love her and her alone, but as many as he possibly can. Black Maria does not seem impressed with this statement and prepares to strike him once more. Sanji recoils, realising that this pain will be difficult to defend against. However, suddenly, out of nowhere, a giant fist strikes Black Maria, knocking her away from her course and preventing Sanji from being struck. Black Maria tumbles to the ground, but is not out. Aggravated, she turns to see who the perpetrator of the slap was. And there she is, in all her glory, Nico Robin, the demon child. Sanji is brought to tears by Robin's epic entrance. His face swells, but Robin is there for a cause. Her eyes burn with anger at seeing what Black Maria has done to her crewmate. Suddenly Brook also appears, cutting down the web, or freezing the web and shattering it, allowing Sanji to be freed. Black Maria is surprised. How have they managed to get through the webs and traps that they set? But Brook simply explains that his ability to freeze is super effective against the webs. Turning to the side, Brook notices Black Maria's mob of creatures and exclaims that they're all spooky. Much to their chagrin, they don't want to be told that by a skeleton. Sanji, who is beaten but not down, gets to his feet and explains that he is leaving. After all, there is nothing he can do against the women, and so he should go somewhere where he is of more use. Black Maria exclaims that she won't let him leave, but Robin explains that she will be her opponent, preparing to strike once more. The scene now switches, and we visit Momonosuke, Shinobi, and Yamato, hiding away with the melted dragon. Yamato explains that the animals with the painted eye masks, the paper eye masks, are part of Kaido's surveillance system, and that if they've been spotted by one of these, Kaido will know exactly where Momonosuke is. It's time for them to move, time for them to find somewhere else. Outside, we see a battering ram being prepared being charged towards the storage door by a number of Kaido's men. But just before they're about to make contact, Shinobi and Yamato burst through the door, smashing the men out of the way and preparing to leave. On the third floor, we see the injured Jack charging towards where the fallen scabbards are, preparing to finish them off. And finally we see Black Maria, her kimono fallen down to reveal a tattoo on her back, and a weapon, a man's head inside a wheel, flaming wheel. She exclaims that at the end, blonde Kaido, Nico Robin. But Robin simply says that no,